So other than learning, education, trade, the difference or similarities between these four terms, can anyone recall what else we talked about? Bio? Bio, you there?
Yes.
So can you help us just recall one thing that we talked about yesterday?
We talked about how to handle inquiries with courtesy and professionalism.
A focus on TAM, please. Oh, sorry. I mean, today's now is supposed to be ERC, but because I think this is more urgent that we need to complete Unit 1 so that you can go on with your project. So I've decided to just shift some of the lessons. So pardon the confusion. Okay, Paya, I'll come back to you. I'll find somebody. What about Si Okay, you weren't there for the lesson, right? Never mind. Akida.
Akida inside the toilet.
Again. Okay, Diana.
Yes.
What did we talk about for TAM yesterday?
Like besides the learning, education, training,
Yep.
and staff development.
There's a special term that we learned yesterday, right? Made out of four words.
Oh, what's it called? It start with V, right?
Yes, very good.
I forget the word. I'm so sorry, but I remember it starts with V.
Okay, can you remember what does V stands for?
Volatile? No, that's not the word.
Volatility, volatile.
Oh, okay. So I was right. Okay.
Good job. Okay, next. Anybody can think of the term?
VUCA.
Very good, VUCA. You want to tell us what's the next term?
Uncertainty.
Very good. Anybody else? Bio. What is C? Bio, you there?
Yeah, it's complex.
Yes, complex or complexity. Okay, Darren? A?
I think A is actually ambiguous, right?
Yes, ambiguity. Okay, so remember this term, VUCA. What else did we talk about? We talked about the difference between the history of education and the history of training. Right? And then we also talk about the old paradigm and the new paradigm. Please remember these two paradigms, especially the differences. Okay? All right, let's move on. Okay. Now that we have completed the first one, we will look at the next two. Explain why organizations need to train their workforce and explain the purpose of training an employee. Question. Now that you all have some working experience, Did you all see any of your colleagues going for courses or training? See, I just read your report. You did a lot of training, right?
Yes.
So why do you think that the organization wants to train the workforce?
Um, to upskill their employees.
Very good, to upskill. And for the rest of us, yesterday we talked about it. Can you all recall? Clarice,
Yes.
what's the reason?
Um. Um. Increase productivity.
Okay, increase productivity. So I want to bring your attention to the difference between training and staff development. Okay, so there's a difference. Can somebody tell me one difference? Ashkin.
Um, uh,
Yes, Ashkin.
hold on.
Okay, training and development. Development, the word, what does the word suggest? Development.
Increase their knowledge.
For both also increases knowledge. Right? Training and staff development both also increases knowledge.
I mean, to upgrade their skills, is it?
Both also to upgrade their skills. But there's a difference. Winnie? Winnie,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Easy training focuses on current
Very good.
law. Then development focus more on the future.
Yes, very good. Staff development focus more on the future. Okay, so this is a very key, this is the key difference. Okay, good job. Okay. But basically, it is the same as both, regardless of whether it is staff development or training, is to upskill the workforce. Either to prepare for future increase in responsibility or to ensure that the current the employees is able to perform optimally at his or her best in the current job. Okay. So these are the reasons. We plug the skill gap. Okay. The textbook, your course notes, uses training and development very loosely. Okay. So for you, you just remember that both do mean the same thing, except when we talk about staff development, we are focusing on the future, on the career progression of the employee. Okay, so these are the reasons for development, aka training, according to your course notes. So first, we plug the skill gap. Plug meaning close and tackle the shortcomings. Yesterday, I told you all to do some research, and I want to look at your training needs survey question. Okay, can somebody tell me what is the purpose of the training needs survey? Okay.
To prepare and plan for the success of the training.
To prepare and plan for the success of the training. Okay, this is more like what survey do post training survey. That's after the training, then you want to see whether the training effective or not.
Oh, okay.
Your training needs survey. Okay, try Saf.
Training. To understand the direction that the training needs to go.
Understand the direction that the training needs to go. Maybe you want to rephrase it a little bit.
I like to know like the main objective of the training, whether it's to like upskill or to educate them.
What's the difference between upskill and education?
Educate is them attaining the knowledge. Upskill is them like using it in a practical sense.
Okay, and then the purpose for you to differentiate this is for?
Like to better plan the training.
I think maybe you are a little bit confused there, so please pay attention on what we are going to talk about next. What about Firdaus?
Hello.
Yes.
Uh,
What is the purpose of a training needs survey?
I think it's to collate the like what the employee needs
Okay, what the employee needs to what?
to somehow to upgrade their skills.
Aha.
To become
Like?
like I'm not too sure.
Okay, so basically you mentioned the word skill, right?
Yeah.
So very good. Thank you, Firdaus. So the purpose of a training needs survey is to find the skill gap or the shortcoming so that you know what the employee is lacking and train them. Otherwise, you run into the risk of spending money and time and training them unnecessarily. For example, if the employee already know basic Excel skills, there is no need for you to send him or her for the basic course. You should send him or her for the intermediate course. Okay, so the training needs survey, the purpose is for you to find the skill gap and shortcoming. And therefore, you are training, right? So reasons for training and development will be to close the skill gap and tackle the shortcomings. Okay, I hope this will help you remember. Okay, another reason for development is optimized use of HR and increase productivity. We talked about this, yes, in one of the slides yesterday. Basically, here is talking about improving the productivity and then contributing to the business success. if your people are up to date, if your people have the latest skills, they will be able to contribute to the company. For example, Apple and Google always hire the top talents. The skills of the people are always updated. That is why they can keep coming up with excellent and forward-thinking products. Another reason is the company who focus on training the employee will have a better employer brand. Okay. If you're unsure what this is, go and Google. It will give you some idea. Also, next, because you train your employee. Your employees can do their job better. When they do their job better, they get recognized. When they get recognized, they are happy. When they're happy, they are satisfied. I think this should be quite easy to understand. Next, the development will complement talent management and succession planning. Okay. Now, this is more of a staff development. We are developing somebody to take on more responsibilities. Okay, with that, let's move on to look at this in a little bit more detail. I've explained to you slightly already. Please read your course notes. If you don't understand, you may clarify with me. Can I move on? Any questions so far? Darren?
No questions.
Elena? Is Elena here?
No question.
Okay, very good. Isaac? Isaac, can you hear me?
Oh, no question too.
Okay, good. Okay, let's move on. Optimize HR and increase productivity. I've also explained this to you. This one also, improve performance lead to higher productivity, leads to better competitiveness, and therefore the profit for the company over a longer term. I don't know if this part is on your course notes. If not, please copy this down. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do so. Okay, let's move on. Improve employer branding. Okay, there's this thing called employer of choice. Okay. If you go to LinkedIn or you do a Google search, you will notice that a company that invests in the training and development of their staff will be rated positively. And nowadays, people want to work for companies who invest in them. You don't want to, because then it feels like you are just because if the company doesn't invest in its employees, it will feel like the company is making use of employee to make money only. And whereas if they were to invest, if the company were to invest on the in the employee will feel valued because they are being treated like human, somebody who needs development. Okay, and these are the reasons. These are in your course notes. So this is a research, okay? It is, when we work, we believe that this is part of the benefit as an employee, which is important because if you're not developed, you can't progress in your work. Nobody wants to be stuck as a human resource assistant forever. Okay, this is another survey done overseas. Also reiterate that training is important and employees do look at it. Another survey done in 2016. Okay, just to show you how important it is. So other benefits like employees are less likely to leave the company because they perform better, they require less supervision. Because they are happy, they tend to be absent less often. And then also they are more self-directed. Okay, complement talent management and succession planning. Okay, it is important because if you don't develop staff, when somebody of a higher responsibility leaves, you have nobody to take over. Like, case in point. For example, let's look at our government. We always hear this term 4G leaders, right? Yes, no, Nurasha? Have you heard the term 4G leaders?
No, honestly. Yeah.
Never. What
Yeah.
about Upa? Ufa?
I also never.
Never. Grace?
Also never.
Amni? Amni? No response. I will try again later. Anissa?
I never heard of it.
Okay, since about quite a number of you don't never hear of it, right? Never mind. I'm going to tell you, but your homework after the class will be you go and Google who are the 4G leaders. I'm going to ask you randomly, so you all better all go and read up. it's a very quick 1 to 2 minutes only. So 4G leaders is a PAP term where they are preparing current ministers to take over as prime minister. There are a few nominees. Okay, so in the event that something happened to the prime minister, or to plan for the prime minister retiring and stepping down, okay, so that is part of staff development. And so the prime minister is developing a few ministers so that they have the skills and the competence to take over as prime minister or act as deputy prime minister. Okay, so that's an example. We have finished these two objectives. Okay. Let's move on to the benefits of training an employee. These are the benefits. Some of the benefits we already talked about before that, like increased productivity, increased job satisfaction. Okay, these are some of the other the increased job satisfaction and morale. Okay, improved performance and productivity. We talked about these two just now already. Then other things will be skills upgrading and future proving. Anyone can explain to me what is future proving? Tipping? Qian Bing? No news. Omni, are you back? Charles?
Yes. I think future proving is like 一个保障 to ensure that next time
Very good. On the right track.
like I don't know how to say, like you have the skills and competencies to do something new or yeah.
Okay, very good. What Charles mentioned is correct. Future proving is I'm teaching you future skills. Okay, you send employees for future skills so that they do not get outdated. For example, nowadays automation, AI is the in thing, right? So you send employees for a course on automation. So when automation sets in, when a company needs to do automation, when automation is being adopted by the whole of Singapore, the employees can embark on it, and they don't feel that you don't get outdated employees. Has anyone tried automation before? Joel?
Yeah.
You want to tell the class what you did for automation?
So I use this third-party software called Zapier. Yeah, so Zapier is like funneling. It helps with marketing funneling. So But one of the simple automations I did was I linked a Google Form survey for a job application. So when people sign up, it automatically send them an email saying, "Thank you for applying with this company and filling up the survey. We'll get back to you in 3 days."
Okay, that is a kind of automation. Nowadays, it is more advanced. So recently, I went for a course on automation. Not they don't even call it automation now. They call it robotic process automation or something like that. So I can download data, save it in a certain file name, and then I can just automate it the moment the thing is downloaded. I extract whatever data I need from the Excel, and then it will save as another as a new Excel for me. So we are moving towards this direction. Okay, next point will be improve personal safety and reduce deficiencies. You can read this on your own. I'm going to skip because we spent quite some time explaining this. Okay, increase capacity to adopt new tech and methods. Did I miss this out? Here, I missed this out. Okay, so look at this. So if you are sent for future skills training, when we need to adopt it, it's easier and you're more receptive. You won't be like, I don't want, I don't know. Next, we talk about this. I'm going to skip this. This is from your course notes. I've also explained this. Okay, improve personal safety and reduce deficiency. For example, you train someone using Excel to perform, say, accounting. Okay. You definitely have less error as compared to somebody who is doing manual. For example, when it comes to calculation, you send someone for training in operating a machinery. The person can operate the machine better, and then definitely safety will be enhanced. Safety not just for the worker, him or herself, but also for the colleagues. You won't press the wrong button and then cause damage to something. Okay? Okay, next. Training paradox. The more you train people nowadays, the more likely they are to leave. With your training investment in hand. Okay, so to increase a person's employability outside the company, the person will just go to another company, right? Then you're wasting your time and effort. What do you think? Grace. Do you think that if you invest in an employee, you are wasting time and effort and money? Grace, are you there?
It depends. If the employee is really willing to train to upgrade their skills, then yeah.
Okay, then what?
Like then all your investment like won't go to waste.
Okay, very good. But then, what if you train the person already, then the person leave?
Then all your investment like wasted lah.
Yeah, so in this case, do you, if you are the person in charge, if you are the boss of the company, will you want to train your employee?
Yeah.
Why?
For the future also to upgrade the knowledge and the skills.
Very good. So one reason, although you know that you train your employee get better. When you're better, when your employees are better, they tend to go and look for better opportunities, right? Then you don't want to train them. So that is a wrong thinking, because there are a lot of benefits associated with training your employees. And if you are afraid that they may leave, there are other ways in HR that you can do to retain them. We call that staff engagement. Okay? Okay, so we have finished benefits of training an employee. Okay, before we go on to this one, let's take a 15 minutes break. Be back by 11.